My mother sent a text. "We no longer trust you." I replied, "Understood." 2 days later, their attorney contacted me, voice trembling with urgency. Another message from Mom arrived. "We've changed all the locks on the house, including the gate code. We don't trust you anymore. Those words burn into your memory, no matter how many years pass." The text landed at 8:14 a.m., as if she'd spent the night crafting it, waiting for the perfect moment to deliver her verdict. I stared at it, not out of shock, because deep down I'd sensed this coming, but because it felt so formal, so final, like I'd been fired from the family. The world seemed to pause, giving me space to absorb the sting. I responded without hesitation. "Understood. Smart move." But I added, "You overlooked one thing." I didn't wait for a reply. I opened my banking app and canceled the $4,800 monthly mortgage payment I'd been covering for their house, the one they handed to my sister. They claimed she deserved it because she had kids, while I apparently only brought disappointment. 2 days later, a new message came, this time from an unfamiliar number. No emojis, no vague dots, just a bold, all-caps subject line from a law firm. "Urgent issue. Please call immediately." I didn't call back. By the time the email arrived, the matter was already settled. But let me rewind, because stories like this don't begin with betrayal. They start with love, or at least the pretense of it. They start with a kid who keeps saying yes, believing it'll mean something someday. One day they'll say thank you. One day he'll matter. That kid was me for years. I paid their bills, fixed their problems, carried their burdens. They called for help until I stopped answering. That morning, when the locks changed, I'd already shifted something far more significant. Myself. I thought I was helping, thought I was preserving the family, the house, the equilibrium. If you'd asked me then, I'd have said, "I'm just pitching in. I can handle it." But it wasn't just anything. I'd been paying their mortgage for nearly 4 years, $800 a month, like clockwork, auto-debited from my account, as if it were a sacred family duty. Add the utilities, property taxes, internet bills, and the emergency roof repair after a storm tore off half the shingles. All of it, my name, my credit, my money. They never once said thank you. My sister Marissa always had a new crisis. Her credit card was maxed out. I cleared it. Her car needed new tires. I paid for them. Daycare was too expensive. I sent money, just until she got back on her feet. 3 years later, she was still figuring it out. I never said no, not once, because I thought that's what families do. Until I realized it's what they expected. The first crack appeared on a Sunday afternoon. I was scrolling through Instagram, waiting for my groceries, when I saw the post. Marissa, my parents, and her kids stood in front of the house, the one I was paying for, holding a sign that read, "Our forever home." My mother's caption said, "So proud of Marissa for securing a future we all cherish. This house belongs to her." I read it again. Marissa's house, her future. No mention of me, no nod, no vague. Thanks to Jordan for his support. Just them, beaming on a porch I'd funded. The comments were a flood of praise. "She's such a strong woman. You're blessed to have her. Marissa, you've earned every square foot of that home." Even my aunt chimed in. "Marissa, you deserve this." I wanted to smash my phone, but didn't. I just stared, like it was a wound I wasn't ready to prod. Days later, I called the bank to check something just to confirm the mortgage was still in my name. It was, but the clerk casually mentioned, "There was a request last week to switch the primary contact to a Marissa Harper." My stomach dropped. "They didn't complete the verification," she added, "but the paperwork's in process." I hung up, then checked my bank statements. That's when I saw it. An extra $2,400 gone from my account, transferred to a card I didn't authorize. I recognized the number. Marissa's emergency visa I'd bailed out 2 years ago when she was between jobs. I texted her quietly, "Did you use my card again?" Her reply, "Jordan, don't make a big deal. We needed groceries, and the kids needed clothes. I thought we were still sharing it." Me, "No, we're not." She didn't respond, but Mom did. "Sweetheart, Marissa's struggling right now. She'll pay you back. Let's not make a fuss over a few bucks." A few bucks. To me, $2,400 was significant, but when Marissa missed a phone bill, it was a catastrophe. Then came the group chat, renamed Family Hub without my input. Someone posted a meme, a guy handing over cash with the caption, "Big Brother vibes, pay up, no questions." My cousin wrote, "Tag Jordan." Another added, "Yo, can you cover my car payment too?" Even my dad joined in, "Only if you name your kid after him. Gotta keep the ATM happy." I stared at the screen. No one defended me, no one balanced it with a joke. I left the chat. They added me back. I left again and blocked them all. But nothing compared to that Friday. I was mowing the backyard, 3 seasons of unpaid landscaping because, as Dad once said, why hire someone when you're here? The mower stalled, and I stopped for water. The kitchen window was open, and I heard them. Mom and Marissa, their voices sharp and unguarded, like this wasn't their first time. Marissa laughed. Did you see his face when I told Aunt Lisa the house was mine? He didn't even flinch, like a dog just happy to lick the bowl. Mom chuckled. It's almost done. Once the papers go through, he can't say a word. He's the one who wanted it in his name. That's his mistake. Marissa again. Honestly, it's better like this. He's always been detached, like a tenant with a checkbook. Then the words that broke everything. Mom, he's not family anymore. He's just a bank. I didn't move. Water dripped from the bottle in my hand, cold and heavy like blood. I felt it. The end of the illusion I'd clung to. Not family, just a bank. They didn't know I was listening. They didn't see me walk away. But those words shattered something that had been fracturing for years, and something new took root. Resolve. Not anger, not pain, just clarity. They didn't expect me to show up. The invitation came in a crisp white envelope with silver lettering. Join us to celebrate Diane Harper's 60th birthday. No personal note, just from your family. 60 guests, a grand venue, full catering, a slideshow of memories, a legacy event. I didn't RSVP or call. I just marked the date in red and prepared. 3 days before the party, I compiled a file. $311,115.84, the total of my contributions, mortgage, utilities, repairs, taxes, each entry with dates, purposes, and bank records. I saved it on a USB drive, along with the audio from the open window. He's not family, just a bank. Screenshots of the group chat calling me a wallet. Copies of receipts. The email where Marissa tried to transfer the house fully to her name. If she wanted the house, she'd take the debt too. I texted my grandfather that morning. He didn't reply. I didn't need him to. The venue was exactly as I'd pictured. White tablecloths, towering balloons, a projector looping old photos, waiters in bow ties, cousins in evening wear, and Mom in a sapphire gown, standing by a sign that read, "A house isn't a home without family." I nearly laughed. I arrived 15 minutes late, deliberately. Heads turned as I walked in. Some smiled, others froze. Marissa caught my eye, blinked, forced a smile, and turned away. I didn't wave, just sat at the back. They didn't waste time. Marissa gave the opening speech, talking about sacrifice, love, and true family. Someone mentioned how this year had united them. The projector showed the house, captioned, "Built with love, passed down with purpose." No mention of me. Then came Mom's toast. She took the mic, wiped her eyes, and scanned the room like a monarch delivering a decree. I'm so proud of Marissa. She's shown what legacy really means, and I'm grateful this home, our home, is in the right hands. Claps, smiles, until I stood up and approached the mic. I wasn't going to speak tonight, I said calmly. But since we're discussing legacy, let's break it down. The projector flickered, then played the audio. Mom's voice, "He's not family, just a bank." Marissa's, like a dog licking the bowl. Gasps rippled through the room. A glass shattered. I clicked again, and the screen showed the group chat. Tag Jordan. Keep the ATM happy. Then the ledger. $1,800 times 48 months. Repairs, taxes, maintenance. If this house is Marissa's now, I said, I'm here to deliver her bill. Not a favor, a debt. I held up the printed invoice, 211 pages, stapled. Silence. Then Marissa shouted, "Are you serious?" "Dead serious," I replied. "Unless you'd prefer I call it theft." Mom snapped, "It was a gift." I stepped closer. "Funny, I don't recall signing a gift deed. I signed every check." Dad stood ready to charge. I turned to him. "Want to discuss the loan you co-signed in my name without asking? I've got that too." He sat down. Then the door opened, and my grandfather walked in. He didn't speak at first, just took the mic, surveyed the room, and said slowly, "You raised a thief, looking at Dad, and a coward. You tried to erase your son with silence, but dirt shows tracks eventually." He turned to me. "The trust is yours now. I fixed it last week. Marissa's name is gone." More gasps. Mom's face crumbled. Marissa grabbed a chair to steady herself. "You want a legacy?" Grandpa said to them. "Earn it. The hard way." He dropped the mic, literally, and left. I placed the invoice on the gift table between a case of wine and family albums. "You changed the locks," I said, loud enough for the back row. "I changed my future. I'm not your bank, I'm your creditor." Then I walked out. No cake, no handshakes, no backward glances. The party was over, and so was the lie. The next morning, my phone showed 57 unread messages. "Mom, You humiliated me on my birthday, you shamed your own blood. Dad, I don't care what you think you're owed. You won't get a dime. Marissa posted a black screen on Instagram. Some scars come from those meant to protect you. The comments were a wave of vague sympathy. You don't deserve this. Stay strong, mama. Family cuts deeper than strangers. None of them knew she'd called me a wallet behind a locked window. None had seen the invoice, but someone had. 2 days later, a call from an unknown number. I answered out of curiosity. Greg Harper, Philip Grant, attorney for your parents. We'd like to discuss a financial resolution. I stayed silent. They don't want a lawsuit, he said. They want this quiet. No press, no social media. They're offering a settlement. I leaned back. Let me guess. Half what I'm owed for my silence? A fair amount, he said, given the informal setup. I almost laughed. Philip, I have every receipt, every transfer. Their voices on tape admitting it. I've got it all. I know, he said stiffly. That's why I'm calling. Here's the deal, I said. Full repayment, every penny, or I file publicly with the audio as evidence. You have 72 hours. He paused. Understood. I'll follow up. Exactly 72 hours later, the wire hit. $311,115.84. Labeled reimbursement settlement. No liability admitted. It didn't come from my parents or Marissa, but a private account I didn't recognize. Probably a loan shark or a nervous friend of Dad's. That made it sweeter. I printed the transaction, filed it, backed it up 6 times. I didn't reply, thank them, or reach out. I wasn't there for peace. I was there for payment. A week later, I posted a video, background plain, tone calm. Some say closure is forgiveness. For me, it was a wire transfer. $311,115.84. The price of 4 years of silence, loyalty, and funding someone else's dream. They called me family, then a bank. Now they can call me paid. I blurred the account numbers but left the total clear. This isn't about spite, it's about truth, and truth comes with receipts. The post spread fast. Therapists shared it. Adult kids of toxic families reposted it. One guy messaged me, saying it inspired him to cancel his mom's car lease. I didn't reply. That day, Dad left a voicemail. So, that's it? You think money fixes everything? You think you've won? You're not part of this family anymore? I deleted it halfway through. They'd changed the locks. I'd changed the rules. Now I live in a sleek apartment with wide windows and perfect quiet. No family group chats, no late night pleas for quick help, no guilt trips posing as concern. People ask if it hurts to be done with them. It doesn't. I'm not done. I'm free. Freedom cost $311,115.84. They ask if I feel lighter now, if cutting them off brought peace or closure. The answer is simple. I don't feel lighter. I feel sharper. Peace isn't always weightless. Sometimes it's grounded, a steady certainty that you're finally on your own side. They disappeared, just as I expected. No calls, no letters, no we miss you. Just silence. Not the kind that stings, but the kind that confirms the truth. I was never their son, just their service provider. When I stopped providing, I stopped existing. 2 months later, I started loving mornings. The way light filters through clean glass, the sound of coffee brewing instead of texts pinging. No, can you send money quick? No passive-aggressive guess who hasn't checked on their mom lately? My phone's quiet. My hands are steady. I've stopped waiting for people to ask how I'm doing unless they mean it. Some, who only know half the story, say, but they're your family. I nod. Sure, like a cage is a home if you've never known better. But I stepped out, and the air here doesn't demand my utility. I don't tell the full story anymore unless someone's earned it. Reliving trauma isn't thrilling. It's draining. When people ask why I'm not close to my family, I say, I stopped confusing access with love. That usually quiets them. I used to check old accounts to see if they'd reached out. They haven't. No apologies, no explanations, no guilt trips disguised as care. Just silence. Like I never existed. Like $311,115.84 of my life was a clerical error they fixed by erasing me. Fine. Let them pretend. They're good at pretending. The worst part? They probably think I'm still waiting, stewing, hoping for an apology or change. I'm not. I've seen them for what they are. When the mask falls that far, you don't wait for it to go back on. You walk away, no glance in the mirror. Forgiveness? That's a word people toss around when they feel guilty and want your comfort without earning it. Forgiveness requires acknowledgement, accountability, remorse. They offered none. So I give nothing back. My therapist once asked, what would you say to them now if they were here? I thought about it, picturing their faces, those familiar masks built from years of denial and deceit. I said nothing. I wouldn't say anything, because that would mean they still have a key. They don't. No emergency contact, no shared accounts, no saved numbers, just in case. I erased their traces from my life, not out of spite, but necessity. That's survival. It doesn't come with fanfare, just locked doors and a fresh start. Sometimes I imagine them telling people I cut them off over money, that I was always cold, that I lost it. Let them spin their softer, flattering tales where they're victims of an ungrateful son who dared say no. They need their stories. I have the truth. Truth doesn't beg, doesn't waver, doesn't crack under scrutiny. Truth sits steady, waits, endures like I did. Now I live. Not in a vendetta, not in a fantasy, just life. Real, quiet, mine. I work, I rest, I laugh when it's funny. I eat when I'm hungry, not when I'm summoned to a family dinner where I'll foot the bill and be ignored. Mom once said years ago, if you ever left, we'd collapse. She was right, they did. But I didn't. I'm not broken, not bitter, not waiting. I'm just done. Not as a threat, not as a cry. Just a fact. Like a locked phone, a clean inbox, a number that rings once and goes nowhere. No forwarding, no return. Just me. Whole. Free. Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Stay tuned for more real-life stories. Get more experiences.